Hey guys, welcome to this video, 7 ways to grow your email list fast without spending any money. And what I want to do right now in this video is break down this article that I wrote a few months back where I went over 7 tips to grow your email list using just pop-ups, and most of you are already doing this on your store. But if you aren't, you should have a pop-up on your store, and if you are using a pop-up, then these are some things you can do to start collecting a lot more leads, a lot more opt-ins through email. Most people are not doing these things. So this does not require spending more money on ads. It doesn't require doing like a giveaway or any of that stuff. Those things are all fine, quiz funnels, things to try to boost your opt-ins. You can do that stuff, but this is a way to, just by spending maybe, 10 minutes making these adjustments, you'll start collecting a lot more leads. So let's dive into the article. I'm going to break it down a little bit. So number one thing here, and I had to put this first because I see this more often than I would expect to. A lot of people, by default, they have the double opt-in turned on. And so what this is inside of your ESP, if you're using Klaviyo for your email marketing or another provider, you want to go into your list settings wherever you're collecting new emails, new leads from your store. If you're doing it through a third-party pop-up software, or if you're using Klaviyo and you're using their pop-up, either way, you're going to have that thing tied to a list, and that list has settings, and by default, the double opt-in is usually turned on. And what happens is that means that anytime that someone goes to your website and they get the pop-up and they want to enter their email to get the discount code or whatever, before it's sending them the discount code, it's sending them this confirmation email asking them if they want to be signed up for your email list. And the truth is, this actually will cut down your email signups by a significant amount. I've seen it cut it down by as much as 90%, which is crazy. But at the very least, you're going to be cutting your signups in half. You are not required to have a double opt-in. And in fact, it's really not a good practice in this day and age. I really don't know why double opt-in is turned on by default. But if you are asking for an email address as part of a pop-up, that's the sufficient step to opt in. And a lot of times that confirmation email doesn't even show up in their main inbox, so people miss it, and then they get annoyed. They're wondering, where's the discount I signed up for, because they don't even realize that they had this confirmation email that they were supposed to do a double opt-in. They don't understand why they're having to do that. So at this point, it's really unnecessary to have a double opt-in. If you have this, please turn it off. And anytime that you set up a new list, you want to go into the settings first thing and make sure you turn off that double opt-in. Otherwise, you're going to start losing out on people who actually wanted to sign up to your email list. You're just going to start missing out on them right away, so you don't want to do that. All right, so that's number one. Now, number two is use behavior timing, and this is really, really important, and most people aren't doing this. Most people, if I go on, and I should have probably come up with an example beforehand to go on a site, but I'm just going to explain what happens. I'm sure this happens to you all the time. You go to an e-commerce site, and the page is loading, first time that you're going on the website, and as the page is loading, all of a sudden, there's the pop-up. What do? X out. Because if I'm just coming to your store for the first time, I want to let me see it. Let me see the store. Let me start to browse around before you hit me with a pop-up. This is just one of those things so many people are doing by default, where the pop-up is just showing up instantly on page load. They call it like an entry pop-up, and it is so bad for conversions. I don't know why people do this so often, but they do. And what happens is you lose most of these conversions because at that point the pop-up's just really annoying. I'm on your site because I want to see what you have to offer, and before I even get to look at anything, you're hitting me with a pop-up. I'm going to X out of that. So you want to use some behavior timing. So let me show you what I mean by that. This is inside of Optimonk, which is a third-party pop-up software that I recommend. This is the one that we use for all of our clients because frankly it converts better than all the others, and we get much better results. But anyway, when I set up a pop-up, I can come in here to the settings, and there's going to be a number of different things I can adjust here. Mainly this part here. You could see this one is set to show up on exit intent, so if someone's on desktop and they go to click X on the tab or on their browser, that's when it's going to pop up. And then it's also when someone has been on the page for at least 60 seconds. So if the exit intent thing doesn't happen, and they're just kind of browsing around, it waits a full minute. So by then the person has had a chance to browse around the site. And you can adjust this number based on the average amount of time that people are actually spending on your website, which you should know from your analytics. But if you know most people are on average spending around 40 seconds on your homepage, then maybe you want that pop-up to show up somewhere around 39, 40 seconds when they're getting ready to maybe click out. So if I go to edit settings here, this is another reason I really like OptiMonk, is because they have so many different options here for behavior. We call this behavior timing. You can make it pop up when someone clicks on a specific part of your page. You can make it come up when they've scrolled a certain percentage down the page, or after a certain amount of inactivity. And then you can even customize this with JavaScript and really have just very specific creative rules that you make yourself for when the pop-up can show up. But try this stuff. I guarantee you're going to get better conversions by doing this than just having the thing come up immediately. All right. Number 3. Don't ask for anything other than an email address at first. And, this is one of those things that I think a lot of people don't think about. But if it's the first time that I'm on your website and I've seen pop-ups that ask for way too much information. Like, you give me a potential offer, or like maybe it's free shipping, or maybe it's a chance to win a prize, or maybe it's a discount. And the pop-up is asking for my first name, my last name, my email address, my phone number. That's too much. I don't want to tell you all that stuff. It's making me have to do too much. And just asking for an email is so simple. It takes a second, and I'm used to it. This is what we call prototypical in e-commerce, meaning that it is something expected at this point. So I would say, take a look at this example here. This is for one of our clients, and this is actually not even for any kind of discount. This is a pop-up that is specifically targeted to people who are at a certain step in the journey. They're on a page where they're looking already. They're browsing through different planters. So this is asking if they want to see the 2023 fiberglass planter guide. And it's very relevant to what they're already browsing. But my point is, that's kind of beside the point. What I want to show you here, this is all it's asking for, just an email address. I don't need their name, okay, because you can personalize emails without worrying about the first name. We're past that. People don't care if you address them by their first name in the email. And you can also get their first name later and customize it with other ways. But without getting into all that, just trust me on this. Don't even ask for the first name. Just ask for the email. The email address is so easy for me to enter. I'm not doing anything else. I'm not being expected to provide any other information other than an email address. Now, sure, maybe I enter an address that it's not really my best email address. It's kind of the one I use for promotional things or whatever. That's okay. Don't worry about that. It's just a quick ad. And if I'm going to enter my email here and I want to get this planner guide, I'm going to go check the email for the guide. And that's another thing I don't think I cover in this article, but I just want to mention, if you are giving someone a discount or whatever it is, you really want to make sure you don't show that on the pop-up. Just, sometimes people enter their email and then they submit, and then there's the code or there's the guide for download right away. And it's like, why not make them check their email? Because that's going to get them into the habit of checking your emails. So it's just a better practice to do that. So yeah, just the email address. Now, if you are one of those people who is also collecting SMS and you're thinking like, well, I also want their phone number because I'm going to do SMS marketing, that's fine. Just do it on a second step. It's not a big deal if, ask for my email here, and then if on the next step it were to say, enter your phone number for exclusive deals or whatever, I might do that still, and a lot of people will, but it's you're going to get a better conversion rate separating those. And at least if they don't go for the SMS, if they don't want to enter their phone number, then you still have their email address. Okay, let's keep going. So number 4, okay, and this kind of goes along with this. Offer something other than a discount. I mean, a big thing in marketing, especially right now when consumers shopping online are a lot more savvy, a lot more sophisticated these days, and they get offers all the time. You want to stand out. You want to show up differently and not be the same, doing the same thing everyone else is doing. So offering anything other than a discount is a really good practice for your first, for your pop-up to get that email address. So here's some ideas. Here's a dollar amount to spend on your first purchase. That one's really easy because you are basically still giving them a discount, but in their mind it's still different. If I'm looking on a store and things are a little pricey, maybe they're in the $100 range or something, and then you offer me a pop-up and you say, sign up, enter your email to get $20 to spend on your first purchase. That's a good offer. It's better than a 10% discount or what have you. So, and it doesn't have to be $20, it could be 5 or 10, but it's a different kind of an offer. Free shipping, that's a great one. I mean, I think people really, a lot of times they'll do free shipping on all orders, and it's kind of you're kind of missing out on being able to use it as an incentive, or automatically you get free shipping if you spend over X, and a lot of stores do that to try to bump up that average order value. But I tell my clients all the time, if we can position that as an incentive that people only get if they're on the email list, that's going to be much better in the long run. So definitely suggest trying that one. Bonus gift with their order. Hardly anyone does this, but if you have something that is easy for you to just give away when someone orders, a normal kind of like your best seller, or they make a normal purchase in your store, and you can give them a free gift. That's a one that a lot of people don't see. So I would highly recommend that one. Now, you could also do something like this where you have like a guide. Obviously, developing something like this takes a little bit more time, and it makes sense on this store because usually the people ordering these planters are either more wealthy consumers or they are businesses, and it's a bit more of a considered purchase. These are higher priced items. So in this case, this lead magnet thing makes sense. We also do give a discount in other parts of the site though. So if it's a good, if you're doing something, you're selling, say like one of the big ones I see all the time is like water machines. That's a high ticket one. Like if you're selling something that's $1,000 or several $100s, then in that case, a lead magnet type thing like this is a good idea, something educational that you can offer rather than just a discount, because people coming to your site for something that's more of a considered purchase, they want to actually learn more about the product before they make a decision. So if you can offer them information in their email, it's a really great place to go and to start getting them really kind of prepped and primed for that first purchase. All right, number 5, try gamification. All right, this one is huge, and some brands don't like doing this because it's maybe off-brand, and that's fine. I don't want to get into that here, but I highly suggest trying this. It works. The conversion rate is going to be higher typically than other forms of pop-ups. So let me show you an example here. Just going to go really quick. Forgive me for a second. Pull up an account that has, okay, so like here's one, just this is another one of our clients at this store, because they're selling lower priced items for the most part, posters and apparel and things like that related to pop culture and gaming and things like that. So what we call gamification in the pop-up works really well. Um, this one here is, I think I can go back and look at what the conversion rate is. This store had a pop-up before that was converting at less than 1%. And then we implemented this gamification one, and we can check in a second, but I think it's like over 6%, which is, think of the difference in how many people from converting less than 1% to 6%, like the difference in how much of your traffic is actually being captured onto your email list. Now, in this case, all they have to do, again, remember that rule, all they're doing is entering their email, not their name, not anything else, not their address, not their social security number, nothing other than their email address, and then they're clicking this spin to win button, and it spins, and there's different things they can get here. They might not even get anything, but I think this is set so that they always get something here. 20% off, a buy one get one offer on a poster. Here's a 5% off, 10% off. And what's cool is you can actually set these so that it always lands on the one that you want it to, or it has like a couple of choices that it can land on. It doesn't have to, land on every one, every single choice here. So this is let's see actually how well this one is doing, but yeah, so more than 6.5%, okay, which is huge. And think about that difference there. That's 2,000 people that signed up for this just on this pop-up. And if that had only been 1%, that would have only been a few hundred people. So big difference. This is one of these ways where, a pop-up and doing this the right way with list growth is directly just leading to a lot more revenue for this business. And before, like I said, they had a pop-up converting less than 1%, and it's like they didn't even realize how much money they were just leaving on the table, just missing out on, because what they had before, it just wasn't converting. Gamification is great. People, it's one of those things. It just tends to convert higher. People want to spin the wheel. They want to see what they get. That you can, we all feel that way about something. It's just easier to get me to buy in on that and say, all right, I'm going to spin the wheel, rather than, enter your email for a code. It's kind of boring, right? All right, almost done here. Number 6, show up more often. This one is just saying that, like, yes, you should do behavior timing, but I see these stores where sometimes they're really afraid to show the pop-up. See, it's ironic because they start thinking, well, I don't want to annoy people with the pop-up, so I'm going to set it to where it only shows up that first time, and if they X out of it, then, they're not going to see it again. Or, maybe they'll see it again in 5 days or something like that. You don't need to do any of that. The irony is those are the same people who are making it pop up as soon as I get to the site, which is stupid. So, use behavior timing, but you can have it to where, and this is another thing in those OptiMonk settings here. Let me see if I can show you on this one. Yeah, so here we have it, certain pages that it won't show up on, but this is where you can time it. Look, this one's going to be 2 times per visitor with at least an hour in between. Now, we could probably actually increase that. I'm not sure why we have this one set so low. That might have been what it was. The last pop-up might have had this setting, but you could have it appear a maximum of like 4 or 5 times. I mean, yeah, if somebody X's out of something like 5 times, and yeah, you don't keep hitting it. But like, if it's a few times, they may X out of it once or twice because they're looking at something, and then they might go, oh, where's that pop-up again? Another thing that kind of goes along with this is using a teaser. So even if they X out of the pop-up, you have one of those little bubbles that shows up. Let me see if this one has it. This one may not have it. But basically, it's okay, I think this one has it because I see a teaser down here. Okay, yeah, there it is. This is a teaser. So even if they X out of the pop-up and they're not interested at the time, this little thing is going to hover down here, and they can click it and go back to the pop-up. That's a really good idea. Having this on usually improves conversions. So I definitely recommend that. But the bottom line is you want to show up more often, and you will find that putting the pop-up in front of people more often in general, again, not like, you know, annoying every single time immediately, but just more times over time, you will find that that actually increases your conversions. And the very last thing is to A/B test. Okay, you can see it in our accounts here how we're doing this. I mean, this one is only the one here, but let me go back and just pull up that other account we were looking at before, the pots and planters one. So here's a big example, because this is one of those sites that's been a little hard traditionally to get. You can see our conversion rates are not as good as that other store I just showed you. This one, it's just one of those stores that has been harder to get people to enter their email. So we've done a lot of work on this, but you can see here a great example. We tried several other versions of this pop-up, and we ran them as A/B split tests, which you can't do on every platform. It's another reason I recommend Optimonk. You can do it. You can do it with Optimonk, and I'll actually, in the PS of this email that I'm sending out, I will put a link to Optimonk, a free account if you want to get a free account and try it. But this is one example where when we first tested a bunch of these, you can see they weren't converting quite as high, and this one that's on, it's the only one on right now, this one has always been consistently the highest. For whatever reason, that picture, that font, those colors are the ones that are converting the highest. It's about 4%, which I like it to be in the 5s, and we're still working. You know, we have ideas to test some more things in here, but this one, by far, the 4 was the highest one we could get. And so the thing is, if we hadn't have A/B tested, though, we wouldn't have known that. We might have ended up with this one here, which we did run for a little while, and for whatever reason, this was converting less than 2%. But if I just gave up and didn't A/B test, I wouldn't have known that. So A/B test always. You should always test your pop-ups. Try different offers. Try different layouts, different copy, different images, different colors. So that's all for today. I think actually in this article I mentioned Optimonk as well, and I have a link there. You can go sign up for a free account. I'll put that in the email. Let me know if you have any questions on this stuff. I hope that you found this valuable. And yeah, start doing this stuff and growing your list with more people, because more people on your list equals more money, and that's, as long as you're sending email, you don't even have to change what you're doing. You're just going to make more because there's more people on your list. So that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to leave a comment or reply to our emails and let me know what you think. All right, have a great day.